Welcome to your doom. Shut it and get over here. Massive uppercut!
Hello and welcome to another edition of the JabJab Show. Today I'm reviewing the movie Creed. Now Creed is going to be, it's a Blu Ray review, that's a Blu Ray. I want to do more of these this year, Blu Rays, DVDs, VHS tapes and so forth. Review the films on them, talk about some of the extras and so forth. Also, you know, as this is a Blu Ray review, this will be a spoiler review. So anyone who's not seen it and wants to see it, I'll just let you know now, there's going to be spoilers within. I'll say this film is a film I wanted to review for a while. For some reason, one reason or another, I've not been able to do until now. Okay, so it came out in 2015, directed by Ryan Coogler, whose previous film is Fruitvale Station. His up-and-coming film after is going to be the Black Panther, not Pink Panther, the Black Panther film, coming out next year, 2018 I think. He directed it. It stars Michael B. Jordan, Sylvester Stallone, Phylicia Rashad, Tessa Thompson and Tony Bellew. So the story is Michael B. Jordan is Adonis Johnson, who's the son of the late Apollo Creed from the earlier films. He's plying his trade as a boxer as well. He's following his father's footsteps, but he says he wants to distance himself from his father's legacy to make a name for himself and so forth. So he's fighting in places like Mexico and what have you, while holding down an office job. He gets to a point where he goes to Philadelphia to seek out, Apollo's, former friend and former world champion, Rocky Balboa, to become his mentor and trainer. And reluctantly, eventually they do so, Rocky does so, and they forge a relationship and they go through tougher and tougher opponents and so on, in order, and they eventually get a title shot. So fisticuffs ensue. The Rocky series of films are a big part of my growing up and all the Stallone films from back in the day. I watched them multiple times down the years and so on. So when it came to watching this film, I was intrigued really to how Rocky would be in this film, how much screen time and all that kind of thing for this film, considering it's a Creed film and not a Rocky film, if you understand. Because when Rocky Balboa came out in 2006 and watching that, how that one ended, it seemed like a kind of satisfying ending to the Rocky character, much more so than how Rocky 5 ended, for example. And Stallone went on record to say pretty much the same thing. He didn't like how Rocky 5 ended the character, so Rocky Balboa happened. So I like Rocky Balboa the movie a lot, and down the years you can pick holes in the sequels and so forth, but despite the success and all the money and all the rest of it thrown at Rocky, through the sequels, it kind of still, I feel like it still kept remembered his roots and still kind of warm of heart and wore his emotions on his sleeve. There's a brief period in Rocky 3 where he kind of forgot all that and embraced the fame a bit too much. But like typical Rocky movies, which this one does have as well. Creed, it does he is snapped back to it by his mentor and his partner, and that's why I feel the character is so endearing to the fans of the Rocky films. In this film, Creed, Rocky is moving a little slower around his restaurant and so forth. He suffered a few personal losses in his life, and so has Sylvester Stallone in the intervening years, more on which later. And he seems to be winding down into the eventual retirement. So when Adonis finds him in the restaurant and starts talking to him about stuff and questions him about Apollo, reveals to Rocky who he actually is, it kind of puts Rocky into an awkward situation because of how the conversation's going and so forth. Rocky's still got it up there, even though, like I say, he's just a bit slower, getting around and so on. And he's reluctant to kind of get involved in Adonis's plans and what have you. But through sheer determination and tenacity and what have you, and the will to kind of prove himself and so on, eventually he wins Rocky over. So Michael B. Jordan brings all this to the character. Plus Creed is angry, he's got identity issues and so on, but he's also got a quiet confidence about him, much less of a showman than Apollo, played by Carl Weathers in the earlier films. He's not a carbon copy, he's very much his own man, which is probably deliberate because of his motivations and so on. The relationship between Rocky and Adonis has shades of Rocky and Mickey, his trainer from back in the day, in the earlier films. It's clear Rocky still has a boxing brain, he's got a lot to offer, and he slips into the role of mentor really easily. I mean, they work well with each other. It's very much like old school meets new school, and there's a joke early on in the partnership concerning the cloud in computing terms, if that makes sense. I mean, watch the films, you'll probably understand what I'm on about. And also the relationship between Adonis and Bianca, who's played by Tessa Thompson, I feel does have similarities between Adrian and Rocky. I mean, when we first meet Bianca, she's very much her own person. She's got her own life. She's a singer at a club. She's a very strong personality. And throughout the film, Adonis kind of relies on her. A little bit, and she gives him pep talks and so on to influence certain moments in the film, certain decisions. And yeah, she's, like I say, she's already that person. When we first meet Adrian, yeah, she's shy and timid, and she's obviously got a different backstory to Bianca. But as the series wears on, Adrian becomes more stronger, and she becomes that person that Rocky relies on to give a few home truths and so forth. Considering how integral Rocky is to the story and how much screen time he has, I don't feel he's kind of overshadows Michael B. Jordan as Adonis. I feel Stallone gives a really understated performance, a lot of dignity, a lot of gravitas, a lot of pathos and whatever. He showed, and even mortality to the characters. Sides of Rocky you've not seen in a film before. He accepting certain things, all the rest of it. It's really affecting. There's a scene where he visits the grave of Adrian and Paulie now, who's passed since the Rocky Balboa film. And also there's a scene as well when Adonis goes to live with him. He's got a picture of Stallone's real life son, Sage Stallone, who tragically passed away before the making of this film. Sage Stallone played his screen son in Rocky 5. So to have that picture in, I'm guessing it's going to be still raw with Sylvester Stallone as a film, and it's quite affecting, like I say, after growing up with the films and so forth. I feel Michael B. Jordan as well as Adonis is great in this film. Like I say, he's not shown me like his father, but he's got quite intensity, but he's also got a lot of warmth, mostly brought out by his relationship with Bianca. I feel Ryan Coogler does a really excellent job at directing this. He's got a lot of visual flourishes in there. The decision to have, say, the first fight, it follows Creed from backstage onto walking his way to the ring and having a fight, winning the fight, and it's kind of does the same thing in the last fight. There's a kind of visual symmetry there, and also has freeze frames where it stops and it gives the stats of a boxer, and little tilts as someone gets knocked down, whatever, so, things like that. But there's also enough similarities in there to kind of show the fans of the series that this is still part of the series of films and so on. So you got the fighter trainer father son dynamic there. You've got the fighter and the partner relationship. You've got montages. You've got pep talks. You've also got a climactic fight at the end of the film. And you've also got the title character, Creed, fighting the world champion in an unlikely turn of events. The world championship boxer in this film is Pretty Ricky Collins, played by real-life boxer Tony Bellew. Follows the so-called kind of tradition of using a real boxer in the film to give it an authenticity. Like they did in the last film, Rocky Balboa, they used Antonio Tarver as Mason and Lion Dixon. This film, Creed, also includes the real-life boxer Andre Ward, world champion, the famed fight announcer Michael Buffer, and also the boxing analyst and fight commentator Max Kellerman. So by the time the final fight comes along, and as I said, Ryan Coogler uses the same visual technique as he did for the first fight for this fight to give it kind of like visual symmetry and complete, if you will, Adonis's journey kind of thing. Adonis is now going by the Creed surname. He's embraced it. He's using it for the promotion and so forth. It's very much again throwback to the Rocky fight. It's very entertaining. You hit me, I hit you, toe to toe kind of things going on. No defense needed, and it just makes a very very entertaining fight. So I like this film a lot. It's very well made, and I've seen it a bunch of times, and it's a good addition to the whole series of films. The only thing I would say really is from when Adonis moves to Philadelphia to find Rocky and so on, you don't see his mum again until quite late on in the film when she's watching the fight against when he's fighting Conlon on TV, which is it's a little odd, considering she's so integral to the story early on. There is a deleted scene of him on the phone to her and she talk and he tells them he's training with Rocky Balboa, but that's about it. Which brings me on to the extras on the Blu-ray disc. There's quite a few deleted scenes. A lot of them, I'm guessing, that were cut for pacing reasons. There's a few of them focusing on Rocky, and he's going about his business, reminiscing about his career and so forth. Which there's no commentary on the film or the deleted scenes, so I'm guessing they were cut primarily to keep the focus a bit more on Adonis. There's 2 featurettes on the disc as well. There's Know the Past, Own the Future, which focuses on the making of the film, the characters of Adonis and Rocky, and some interviews with the main players that's in front and behind the camera, and also with Michael Buffer and the real life trainer Freddie Roach. The other featurette is Becoming Adonis, which focuses more on Michael B. Jordan's training regime and becoming the character of Adonis. You can see on here, it's obvious he's putting a lot of time and effort, and it reflects in the final film and so forth. All in all, these extras are about 40 minutes long. So in conclusion, I love this film. It's really well made, and I feel it's a great addition to the series, worthy successor, and all the rest of it. I know the film's called Creed, but you get what I'm saying. Sylvester Stallone is a great performance. He's really showing sides of the character you've not seen before. He's getting older, he's more vulnerable, and he's got a real sense of loss as well. And it's really affecting because obviously in the film he's also got Paulie's no longer there, but also in real life about Stallone's son as well. It really brings it, and it's, like I say, it's really affecting. Michael B. Jordan and Tessa Thompson, they kind of portray the characters really rounded, really fully, kind of well done and so forth. So in my rating of new kind of ratings of the film, I'm going to give this film, Creed, 9 Creed shorts out of 10. Very well done. And the Blu-ray extras, I give them 6 Creed shorts out of 10. I would have liked, I like extras on DVD, Blu-ray and so forth. I would have liked, commentary there, and I would have liked a more in-depth behind the scenes, like special features and so forth. But anyway, them's my opinions. I'm going to throw a fun question out to you. What's your favourite film in the Rocky series? Just let me know down below in the comment section down there. Like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends and everything. And in the words of the new Cyrus, send the word.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.